Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to...
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacer fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacer podcast. Today is June 1st, 2022, and this is episode 594. Is that right?
That's what the website says.
Holy cow. We are nearing 600 episodes. When we started this, we thought we'd get 6. So we are coming to you from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm your host, John Colson, the in-house bartender. Joining me this week is one of our analysts, but we're still coast to coast like buttered toast. From Boise, Idaho, out west, our enforcer. Coming to you from Boise, Idaho, out west, our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, buddy? I'm not very near the coast.
Yeah, no. I mean, when we started this, it was Portland to DC, and it was, and then I was in Denver.
Was I in Seattle? I think I was in.
You were in Seattle when we started.
Yeah, I think I was in
you're
Seattle.
Right. You're right. And I was in Denver, and Joey was in Indy, and we were just like we were in all 4 time zones. I think that was. It felt like coast to coast, like buttered toast. But you know what? I still appreciate what we do. I would like to mention to the fans that I have only hosted once or twice ever, and it's usually a disaster. But I'm reading the script right now, and it says now segment drinks. So, Harper, what are you drinking?
You've got a really old script in front of you.
I've got an old script. What are you drinking, Harper?
It's too late for breakfast wine, so it's dinner wine.
Dinner wine. And you know what? I just finished my last High Life, so I can't even use the jingle. I'm just drinking a Miller Lite. So we're coming to you today because this is the day of the NBA Finals. And we did not want our fan base to watch Game 1 of the NBA Finals without knowing your Undebeatables picks.
Well, I mean, 2 of our hosts wanted that to happen.
Actually, Joey sent his pick, and I might respect it. We'll see.
No.
Jason's screwed.
Going hard left on it, whatever he's got.
That's what you get for having children.
And being responsible.
Wives. Yeah. Needing sleep. Yeah. No, yeah. All that stuff is...
Working. It's for the birds, man.
And it's for the birds. So you're stuck with John and John, who don't deal with that nonsense.
No. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm drinking on a weeknight.
That's what I call every day. So, Harper, I would like to ask how you felt about the end of the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston versus Miami. I think we talked Game 5 last time, and then we've had Game 6 and Game 7. How'd you feel about how the Eastern Conference Finals ended?
I mean, heck, it ended a heck of a lot better than it started for me. I mean, it was just that weird seesaw thing where everything was kind of a blowout, but it was give a game, take a game sort of thing. And credit to the coaching staffs for getting their teams so prepared that they just manhandled the opposition the following game. But it's not great as a fan. Things certainly tightened up as they came down the home stretch. Miami put it on them pretty good in Game 6. 47 point. I mean, really, just a playoff gem from Butler. I mean,
my goodness, no. So Jimmy Butler put together one of the greatest playoff performances of all time, right? I mean, it's got to be on a list of a top 25 or something, right?
47,
I mean, it's an
9, 8.
Yeah, elimination game.
16 and 29 from the floor, 4 of 8 from 3-point land. He is not the most adept
Known as a
three-point
three-point
shooter on that team.
For sure.
11 of 11 from the free throw line, plays 45 minutes, and turns the ball over 1 time. He also has 4 steals and a block. He threw in some just ridiculous shots in there. Of course,
dunks
and of course was playing fantastic defense the whole time. I mean, it really
the entire
was a heck of an
time.
effort.
Do you? I mean, am I wrong to say this is a top 25 playoff performance of all time?
I mean, there's been some great ones, but
there has been.
If you're a
but
Heat
it's
fan, yeah, for sure.
Well, for sure. But I mean, even if you're a Heat fan, you've got like LeBron and D Wade on that list. It's still got to be in a high on that list. He was brilliant. And this is the other thing: the game before, he couldn't draw iron for a shot. I think he was. He didn't hit 20 points. I'm pretty sure. The shots they was putting up, they all looked short. He looked like he had no legs. And
he was playing through some pain, I think, too. There appeared to be some injury.
Yeah, well, what happened? I mean, did you get a good massage? Like, you get a little German shot? What's going on? Like, I don't know.
A German shot?
Isn't that what Kobe used to do? He used to go to Germany and come back and he'd be better.
We're talking like the platelet stuff that Peyton Manning used to get and stuff in his neck. Yeah, no, probably more likely just a cortisone shot or something. But
cortisone,
yeah, he might have got something. But whatever the case is, I mean, he's a warrior, man.
Well, actually, he's a Heat.
He's a Heat. It's just it's plural. It's not plural. I don't like it.
Well, and I would also like to talk about Kyle Lowry's transition from Game 5 to Game 6.
He's transitioning.
Well, I mean, he looked like he didn't belong in the NBA in Game 5. In Game 6, the two of them looked like an undebeatable duo in Game 6. He did everything he needed to do. He was in all the right places defensively. He had all the big shots. I thought he had all the assists. I thought he covered the floor. He was the perfect complement to Jimmy Butler in Game 6. And when you start to look at this team and you go, okay, Spoelstra's a genius. Bam Adebayo's a defensive force in the middle. And then you've got these two guys that can turn it on. This team could go to the finals. I started to believe.
Did you?
I did. I started to believe.
I have.
They won in Boston in Game 6, and they won dominantly.
I just have so little trust in Kyle Lowry. So little trust.
Because he's 36? I mean, he's won a ring before. Like, he
not
knows
because
what
of what Kyle Lowry was doing.
I don't know. I don't think Toronto wins without Kyle Lowry.
I mean, they probably wouldn't have gotten there in the regular season and early playoffs without him, but it was not his stellar. He wasn't the best guy on that team. I mean,
oh no, he's never been the best guy on any team. But I think he's the savvy veteran. That's the second or third, fourth best player on a team that matters.
And will occasionally lay just a horrific egg in a conference
really
finals game for you.
Yeah. But occasionally he'll also hit the game-winning three-pointer or take the game-winning
every
charge.
time I mean, that's the thing too. I'll tell you what was driving me nuts in that game is the calls that were going his way. He was just throwing himself into bodies and like getting it was just garbage. Whatever. Anyway, Kyle Lowry, suck it. Oladipo was doing his part, I guess. I'm coming out of this game and I'm thinking they only let Adebayo take 6 shots in this game. It took 47 from Butler and a great game from Kyle Lowry, which I just don't expect at this point in the season. I was a little nervous for the Heat at this point. Yes, they looked good.
And a couple big shots from Oladipo.
Yeah, and a couple big shots from Oladipo, no less, right?
And then he also did the same thing in Game 7. Wasn't great, but hit a couple really clutch shots. This was a really interesting game. So I was watching this sort of just like out of the corner of my eye on some level because I was like, look, Boston's dominating this game. It doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy Butler's pulling up for a 3-pointer to go ahead with, 20 seconds left? 12 seconds left? 12 seconds left. And I was like, what is happening? I totally was convinced that Boston was winning this game wire to wire.
Spoiler alert.
And they did.
They did.
They did. But there was a 3-minute span where the Boston offense fell apart, and Miami's defense and some of their shot makers made it interesting. And I really, for a second, was doubting that Boston was going to win this one. Were you when Jimmy put up the shot? What did you think? Was that going in?
I mean, the last couple games he'd had, I'm sure he thought it was going in. I mean, my first thought was, you got Boston not in a set defense. You got Al Horford guarding Jimmy Butler on his heels, and a path to the basket. When I think about Jimmy Butler's preferred shots, I think about him going downhill and creating contact. There's more than one way to score 3 points on a possession, and they were down 2.
Yeah, he's not a 3-point shooter.
So my first thought was, ooh, that is a questionable shot. And yeah, it didn't go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I actually was upset at in the moment. I agree with you. I thought he should have thrown his body into Al Horford. But the thing is I don't know if they call that foul that late in the game. And Al Horford's an excellent defender.
Some big blacks coming down the stretch in that one.
Yeah, and I think that if you are that late in a game, and the season's on the line, and you have that much space, he had a lot of space because you have Al Horford backpedaling and there's nobody around you. Like, he had the space to shoot the shot. I think you take that shot. And I think he did the right thing to do it. I'm always the guy that go down, make the, don't settle for the 3-pointer, go to the basket. But I think in that moment, I think it was probably the right decision. And look, he played all 48 minutes in this game. He's allowed to miss a shot.
I mean, but that's exactly my point, right? Like, if he was fresh and had his legs under him, that feels like a better shot to me. You know what I mean? And look, you can't fault the guy. He put up 90 points in, games.
Yeah, he had 35 in this game.
He can take whatever the hell shot he wants, and anybody who has anything to say about it can just about suck it. Like, I'm not a Jimmy Butler fan, but
sure.
He did his part.
I'm not either.
You know
but
what I mean?
Look, he was absolutely heroic.
Yeah,
in these
100%. So he can shoot whatever, his light is green. And if that's the shot that he wants, that's the shot that he can take. And in today's NBA, it is hard to fault a guy taking an open 3-point shot. It just is. But, when things are tight and you need a bucket, my advice to guys is always do what you do best. And what he does best is not pull up in transition for a 3-pointer. Right. Especially
he's not Reggie Miller.
Especially when he's tired, because again, you're right. A heroic effort, plays all 48 in that one. So
all 48. He'd take a minute off. Also, the other thing I was thinking of is if he takes 2 steps in, Al Horford is all the way back under the basket. He's still got a wide open look. Yeah, and he could tie the game at the free throw line jumper. So like that's also something. But again, it's hard to follow a guy in the middle of, look, we've played basketball before. You don't really think about this stuff. You're just playing, he had an open look. He took it.
Yeah.
So
I think I was more surprised in the moment than I was after I reflected on it a bit.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the Heat go down. The Celtics get.
They were the 1 seed.
Great efforts up and down the roster, but it was really the guards, Tatum, Smart, and Brown. 26, 24, 24. They had 25 boards between them. They had 17 assists between them. These guys are just a handful. And then Al Horford with 14 boards and a monster block coming down the stretch. Jason Tatum, incidentally, the first winner of the Larry Bird Award for the Eastern Conference MVP.
Did we? We probably haven't mentioned that Steph Curry won the first Magic Johnson Award for the Western Conference MVP.
We haven't, but
Yeah,
that may be a
shout
footnote
out.
for him this season. for either one of these guys, as it turns out,
yeah.
because
fair
one
enough.
of these two guys is almost certainly going to be your Finals MVP.
I agree with that. Okay, so now we've got Boston going to play Golden State. How you feeling about this?
We talked about it already. I think that shapes up to be a heck of a series. The defense that the Celtics can show, both on a team, but most specifically on that perimeter, is just really, really good. I mean, they're holding NBA teams in the, at this point in the 3-point era to under 100 a game consistently in the playoffs. I mean, these guys are just monsters. They got length. They're versatile. They have high IQs. They play as a team. I mean, these guys have got a lot going for them.
They're the best defensive team in the NBA right now, and it's not just the wing though, right? I mean, we've got the Marcus Smart and the Brown and the Tatum, but you've also got an Al Horford. You've also got Robert Williams. I mean, these guys are. I mean, now granted he's injured. He only played half of Game 7, but these guys are devastating. And you mentioned before that the Warriors have never seen anything like this in any of their championship runs, where somebody can be matched up on all of their spots, right? So you got Smart playing Curry, you've got Brown playing, Clay, Tatum could play Wiggins or Poole. I mean, there's just so much versatility from that wing spot defensively, and then you feel like Horford can play with Draymond, and I know that the Warriors are good defensively, but I don't. Well, okay, actually, let's get to that. I think my main problem with choosing this thing is I think Boston matches up defensively great with the Warriors. But I'm real concerned about their offense. The Warriors are never going to stop scoring. That's what they do. Even if they have great defense, they keep moving the ball. They have the most elite scorers maybe in the history of basketball in their backcourt. And I just don't know if Boston keep up. They against Miami, they went through long stretches of not being able to play the basketball, score the basketball. Most recently, in the last 3 minutes of Game 7, they couldn't put the ball in the basket, and Miami came all the way back and almost won that series because they couldn't put the ball in the basket. And so I'm concerned for Boston, even though I think they're better defensively and they're a better team overall. But I think the Warriors have they've already been there. They've got the reps, and I'm not sure that they go through the offensive droughts that Boston does.
So to put that in perspective, Boston, every one of their starters got at least one vote for Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
All 5 of them.
Yeah, they're real good.
I mean, that's
historic,
that is
right?
special.
Has that ever happened? That's never happened.
I mean, I don't have the stats on that, but I can't imagine when it would have happened because that's pretty crazy.
Maybe the Pacers in 2012, 13, but not even then. They wouldn't have given it to George Hill, right?
No way. And, the experience gap, something like 124 finals games for the Warriors and a big fat 0 for everyone on the Celtics. Now, that said, obviously these guys have a ton of playoff experience writ large. Al Horford.
They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times.
Yeah, and I think Al Horford has as many games as any active player who hasn't been to the finals. I think he's leading in that stat. So,
shout out Al Horford. So he's the longest tenured playoff guy that's never been to the finals.
I think he's got the most personal playoff games without ever making the finals of at least.
Shout out for he's been such a Warrior for a long time. He's not a Warrior. You're right.
Not a Warrior.
Yeah. This is the Lance Stevenson story, right? You bring him back later, and he brings brings everything together.
Brad Stevens looking pretty smart right about now. I don't think they'd be here with Kimba on the floor. Much
You
as I
know what?
love
He
the
really,
robot.
you know what? He really is. So that's another interesting point. And I liked, a guy who had coached this team for 10 years, whatever it was, goes to the front office, and the first thing he does is go back and get an old player that got traded away, and that is part of the secret ingredient. Like, I'll give a ton of credit for Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
For doing his job and being a great coach and turning a 500 team, at the 50 win mark into a finals team. I think that Brad Stevens needs some credit for knowing his team very well and bringing the piece that he needed. And I think, Horford is that piece. So shout out.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly been a difference maker for them. And, he's not the guy filling up the stats, but he's the guy who's willing to do the little things. And just, again, like everyone on this Boston team is so very versatile. He's high IQ. I mean, to a man. These guys, they're long and they're tall. They're willing to play defense. They're willing to sacrifice. They're willing to make the right play. They're willing to pass, but they know they can score. I mean, this is a well-constructed team. That said, I would not concede that they are a better team than the Golden State Warriors.
Well, so I mean, look, the Warriors have been to the finals 4 times out of the last 6 years,
and they're in a drought.
They've had some injuries lately. They're probably not underdogs. They're probably the favorites. They have home court.
Yeah, no, they're favorites. Yeah,
okay, all right. We spent a lot of time talking about Boston because we were pleased with how their run has gone. But yeah,
and
right.
The Warriors were at home, resting and preparing to play Boston.
They also had a way easier path to this. I mean, all you got to do is stop the Mavericks from hitting 3-pointers.
I mean, that wasn't the only series that they played in this playoffs.
Denver only had Jokic. They didn't have Murray. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this wasn't that hard for them to get here. They didn't have to play Phoenix.
I mean, it's because Phoenix got beat by a team that they manhandled.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, look, it's not the toughest road to the finals ever, but I mean, they just went out and took care of business. So
they definitely did that.
I mean,
and they've been here before.
Yeah, bunch of times, and I think that they have the deeper roster. I think that
Okay.
I mean,
I'm fine with that. I agree
there's
with that.
no point in making comparisons because it's like comparing apples and West Africa or I don't even know. It doesn't even make any sense. Apples and horns.
Apples and pineapples?
No, like apples and rocket ships. It's like it's not. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Apples and rocket ships is probably the name of the pod.
And what the Warriors do, yes, they have guys who can hit shots, but it's really the motion in that offense, which is so challenging for everyone, right?
Does not stop.
Now, that said, Boston is better suited than most teams to deal with it because of their ability, to understand what's happening around them, communicate as a team, and because of that length. But we've all seen the Warriors play at this point. There are some things, I mean, after 7 or 8 screens on one possession, I mean, there's just only so much you can do out there. And these guys know how to find ways to get open. And yes, Boston is better defensively, but what Golden State...
than anybody they've ever seen in this playoff run. I mean, you can go back, you can look at all the teams in the West that they played. You can look at... They played Cleveland every year in the finals. Or, I mean, I guess Toronto one year. But, all those teams...
That was a pretty good defensive team, that Toronto team.
Yes, and they lost. But they also had Clay and Durant were injured. But, I mean, the thing is, I don't think they've ever seen defense like this. So that's what I think makes this slightly interesting.
Oh, no, I mean, I think it should be a great series.
Because otherwise I would just give this to Warriors in 6.
Yeah, I mean...
if
Or
because
4.
I just don't... or 4, yeah. I think that's what Jason called and said. He said Warriors in 4. That's what he had.
I thought he said Boston
in.
in 4, but
Oh, did he say Boston in 4? Okay, I must have misread it. Okay, so Jason's got Boston in 4. My thing is I really did think because of the experience, which I think matters a ton, I lean towards the Warriors on this. How are you feeling? Despite Jason's like totally being all in on Boston.
yeah, I mean, there's a reason that the Warriors are favored in this series. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I mean, yeah, sure, home court advantage means a lot. The experience means a lot. Steve Kerr and isn't Mike Brown their assistant coach? So yeah, I mean, they are and should be favored in. Additionally, I was listening to Jalen last night, and he was like, "Don't forget, man, Steph still doesn't have his MVP yet." And he's like, "I don't think this guy's going to be denied this year." And it's kind of hard to argue with. It is very likely that if the Warriors win this, that Steph Curry will be the MVP of the series. Boston will,
because it's the only thing that's not on his resume right now.
Pretty much, and it's
also that would put him 4 titles, which would put him matched with LeBron as the greatest winner of his era.
I mean, he's really good, and he's still got something to prove. You can be sure that Boston is going to be throwing the kitchen sink at him, but there's no reason to think that Clay's not going to be able to score 40 a game if he needs to. I mean, if you're willing to throw,
I think Brown or Tatum might have something to say about that.
Not if you're doubling Curry.
Well, I think Marcus Smart can keep up with him. I think defensively, this will be difficult for the Warriors.
It's going to be extremely physical, but the Warriors have been there before. If they can stay healthy, they'll win.
All right, so Joey actually he did text me. He wants Boston in 6. I'm gonna say Warriors in 5.
You said Warriors in 5?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And Jason's got Boston in 4.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, he does.
No, we need to cover our bases here, bud.
We'll give him Warriors in 4 then.
No, he'd have one.
That's at least interesting.
He'd almost certainly have. I mean,
one of them in 5.
He's going to have one of them in 7. I mean, we're at the very least.
Oh, he'll have one of them.
At the very least, we're hoping for a long series here. I would take Golden State in 7.
And he'll take Boston in 7.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, I've got Golden State. I've got Golden State in 6. I hate it, but I do.
All right. Well, let's give him Boston in 7 because
Boston
has won the last 2 series in 7 on the road. On the road, both the games.
You know, Spoelstra had never lost a game 7 at home. He was like 22-0 or something. I can't remember what the stat was, but it was like 4 or 5. That was what it was. But.
Well, and also some of our fans might not know this, but this is no longer the Roracle. This is the new arena for the Golden State Warriors. So they could definitely want to try to win a championship in their opening year, but also it's different. The sound is different. It's not as intimidating place to play because there's more space for rich people to, eat food and stuff. So anyway, I think that maybe this it's not the Roracle. It's the home court is not as important, and the Celtics have won I think 7 road games in this playoff run. So I said Warriors in 5, but let me take Boston in 7.
Okay, you can have Boston in 7. I'll take Golden State in 7, and we'll throw Jason on Golden State in 6.
Yeah, I like it.
Because several times during this playoffs, he's taken my number, and then the number that I fell on as a default to that has been the right one. So I'm going to do him a favor here and get him on Golden State in 6.
Okay, Golden State in 6.
Golden State in 6.
Joey's got Boston in 6. You have Warriors in 7, and I have Boston in 7.
You have Boston in 7.
I feel good about this. I'm looking forward to, because you keep all the numbers. I'm looking forward to after the finals is over, telling us how we all did in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because that's going to be a lot of math you can't do on the fly.
Man. I think we already talked about the first couple rounds. I did have Boston in 7, by the way, last series, because I'm quite sure that it was because Jason picked Miami in 7, and I was like, we talked about
exactly
it. It's like, it's going to be a long series. And I don't think anyone had.
I think I had Boston in 4, I think, or 5.
You had 5, you had Boston in 5. It's very, very ambitious.
But I at least I got the right team.
You did.
I'm still on the board.
Way to go, buddy.
So you get a point for the right team and 2 points for and a point for being on the number, right?
Yeah, so 2 points total.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. Did we have some escalating? I don't know. We'll have to work it out.
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah. We should definitely get extra for the finals at least. But
right, because if you didn't pick, if you've lost your team earlier on, like you should get an extra point for if you've had the original team the whole time.
Oh yeah, you get extra points for that, sure.
Okay.
The Golden State won in 5 against Dallas. Is that right?
6.
6. Oh, I had that too.
Oh my goodness! So you're definitely winning right now.
But neither of my teams that I picked originally are in. That's for sure. Because I think I had the Bucks Suns.
Yeah, you had Bucks Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. And I had Celtics Suns. So.
Yeah.
And I think I had Celtics winning it all. So we'll see. We'll see. There's still time.
Yeah, there is still time.
Harper, do you want to take a small break and then have a small panic attack about the Pacers offseason after this, or
Sure.
you just want to get out of here?
No, we can. I love Anxiety Corner. It's my fave.
All right. Well, let's take 3, and we'll be back in just a minute for Colson's Anxiety Corner.
Talking up a cone in a hotel parking lot. We forgot the passcode, meet us in the lobby. Y'all got demons trying to find me in my sleep. Airplane mode, so I'm finally out of reach. Timing is impeccable, my eyes are on the beach right now. People looking bleak right now. Gotta find a way to speak. No, we don't need shivering you. We don't need shivering you. We don't need shivering you. We don't need shivering. In this game, you never quite know how it might go down, down, down. Ignored our existence like we were invisible. We were invisible. We're not invisible. You can watch it all shine when the lights go black magic. No, we don't need shivering you. We don't need shivering you. We don't need shivering you. No, we don't need shit from you. We don't need shit from you. Ignored our existence like we were invisible. We were invisible. We're not invisible. You can watch it all shine when the lights go black magic. When the lights do black magic. When the lights do black magic. When the lights do black magic. Black came through the portal in the Indiana street. Hit the dirt running in my Indiana cleat.
Welcome back from the break, Pacer Nation. Is that what we do? Is that how he does it? No.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. I'm running this show.
It's your show,
Welcome
baby.
back from the break, bitches.
The other one was better. It was slightly less
Okay.
alienating to the listener, but
Fair enough.
that's all right. We're workshopping. We're workshopping.
I've never hosted before. Maybe one time. I think they kind of put the reins on me for a reason. Here's what I want to know, Harper. Oh, actually, before we get going, I'm a little nervous about my pick. I took the halftime, and I was thinking about it. I said Boston in 7. But my argument was that Boston's going to have trouble scoring just because they go through those phases.
Oh yeah, it didn't make any sense.
And even with the Warriors being really well defended, with their championship experience, they're going to find a way to win. I definitely probably should have stuck with Warriors in 5. But I'm going to go with my stupid pick of Boston in 7. So
Hey, we're rooting for a long series. We're doing the right thing karmically.
okay. Karmically, sure.
As an analyst, we're idiots.
We are idiots. I really think that Steph Curry wants to get his MVP and his 4th title, and he can be on. That puts him in, what, a top 10 player of all time list? Top 12?
I mean, there's a good argument that he's the best player of his era.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
Although he's playing at the same time LeBron James is, so.
I'm aware.
Oh, bulletin board material for LeBron next season, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Also,
bring it, LeBron.
no one
I don't know. Is non-playoff contender LeBron?
Nobody listens to this crap. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to do, the thing that keeps me up at night, is the Pacers offseason. I know that we're in the middle of the playoffs and getting ready to do the finals. One of my favorite things in the entire world is Pacer playoff games. We haven't had to worry about that this year.
Nope, wasn't a problem.
We had to worry about lottery balls. We ended up with the 6th pick. My mother called me after we released that episode, and she was like, "It seems like you guys are really sad that we got the 6th pick." And I said, "Yes, I am." The rest of them were trying to talk me off the ledge, but yes, I'm sad. And she was like, "That's still a really high pick." And I went, "All right, let me think about this. Mom, you're a very smart lady. Smarter than my co-hosts that were trying to talk me off the ledge."
Those idiots.
I mean, they were saying the same thing you're saying, but let me think about it now that Mom's
Yeah, mom cut to the quick though. She was like, six is 6 is
good. 6
it's
is
a
great.
low number. It's lower than 7.
Exactly.
We were getting all complicated with modal outcomes and shit. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
about
that's the thing. We were talking about modal outcomes.
Nobody cares about
Exactly.
statistics. 6 is
Like,
better
look,
than
this
7.
is a good number. And so I started doing some research, and there was a wonderful article, and I'm going to link to this in the show notes, about Murray, Keelan Murray, who most of these mock drafts has us picking at 6. So the reason I was so sad a couple episodes ago is because I really wanted to be the 1 or 2 spot so we get Jabari Smith. I thought he was the one impact player in this game. And then outside of that, I wanted to get maybe 4 so we could get Jaden Ivey, who's a local hero, who I think is a pre-injury Oladipo who would be amazing with Tyrese Halliburton. He's clutch, he's explosive, and really interesting. And to get 6, you don't get either of those guys. This Keelan Murray kid sounds like Keegan. I should probably learn his name if he's going to be on the team. This
Don't want to
Keegan
jinx
Murray
it.
kid.
I don't want you to invest it in anyone. We lost a number 1 pick that we never had, and you were crushed. So let's not get too attached to any of these guys. So manage expectations right now.
No. This is we can't manage we cannot manage my
have to
expectations.
manage your
No, that's what I'm
expectations.
here for. I'm just losing my mind. I have been talked into the fact that Keegan Murray is a legitimate prospect who he's 22 years old, so he's a little bit older, but he had a late growth spurt, but he's worked harder than everybody else. He's got a twin brother.
He's
which
a
is
hell of a
really
lot
cool.
younger than old man Duarte.
That's right. He is way younger than Old Man Duarte. We're also not afraid of taking older prospects. He seems to me a little bit like a 3-4 in the mold of a Danny Granger. He comes in as a defensive prospect who can also score. Eventually Danny Granger stopped caring about defense and just became a scorer. But when he first got his teeth cut in the NBA, it was as a defender. And I also blame the coach on that one. What was that guy's name? The guy before Vogel.
Which one? Timmy O'Brien?
Yeah. It was O'Brien's fault.
Is his name Tim? It wasn't Tim. Tim O'Brien's a different guy. It
Somebody
was
O'Brien.
Ann O'Brien.
Jerk O'Brien.
Jerky 3-point O'Brien. Celtics, man, I blame the Celtics.
So
Jim O'Brien.
Jim O'Brien.
That was close.
You were very close. And the moment I looked away from you, I saw Jim in my head. I don't know what that means.
Let's not dig any further into that.
Just look me in the eyes a little bit longer. So
I'm done.
Anyway,
That's what she said.
I think this kid could be really useful. I think he could play 3 or 4 for us, which is what we need on this team because we are losing our 3-4 who hasn't really played for us in a long time.
I assume we're talking about TJ Warren.
We are talking about TJ Warren. He used to play for us like 2.5 years ago. He was great.
Rumor has it.
Also, Jalen Smith, who we brought in for a second-round draft pick, who I got real excited about as a future of our 4, can be stolen if anybody wants to pay him more than $4.5 million, which I assume someone will.
Yeah, he got.
So we have some need at the 3-4 spot. Duarte, I think, can play the 3. I really like him as a big 2, but also I like Buddy Hield as the 2. Who works really well with...
he ain't going anywhere with his contract.
And I think he works really well with Halliburton, and I'm okay with that.
He had a great season for us.
It could be that he eventually ends up as the spark plug off the bench if we can put enough talent on this team. But right now, he's the most talented 2 guard we have. But if you bring in a Keegan Murray, it could be you put him at 3 if you can hold on to a Jalen Smith. My concern, I guess, Harper, and what I need to ask you is, if we can pull this off, if we can get this guy at 6, what does that say for your rotation? He could play a small ball 5 even, maybe. Does it make even though I desperately want to keep Jalen Smith and I'd like to keep Warren, does it make it easier to let these guys go because they're probably going to leave?
Does it make what?
Easier for these guys to leave. They're probably going to leave, right? I mean, it's nice to get a replacement piece at that position.
You mean for Warren and Smith?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are beyond our control, right? I mean, everybody that we're looking at, and really most of the guys in our range anyway, are 2s and 3s. So even if it's not Keegan Murray, who I know you love, other guys that may be on the board. I mean, Jaden Ivey may fall. Like, there are mock drafts where he's ours, and I think we should take him if he's there.
I definitely think we should take him. I agree.
Unless Jabari Smith falls to 6. I think we should take Jaden Ivey. But also, Shaden Sharp, I think, is hard to pass up at 6. If Keegan Murray's not there, AJ Griffin, I think, is a very good prospect. Benedict Mathurin, very good prospect.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him.
I mean, he's a 6'6" shooting guard. He can hit the 3. Whatever. The kid can play. He's probably not going to be. I mean, there's a good chance he won't be on the board when we get there anyway. So CBS has him going to Detroit. So there's people who don't even think he'll be on the board at 6. So you may not love him, but there are people who do.
I'm glad there are people that do because I'm not necessarily. I just want him to play more defense.
Yes,
here's what I've learned.
We need something between 2 and 4. The only 2 positions that we really have locked down are 1 and 5, with Halliburton.
Well, and that's assume that we're
of Isaiah Jackson and Miles Turner.
Miles Turner, right? And that's assuming we're holding on to Miles Turner.
Well,
but
like I said, I mean that's part of the equation, though, right? The combination of those guys means that we feel pretty good at 5, and really 4 or 5.
Yeah, but no, I agree. I think 2, 3, 4 is what we're looking for, which gives us a lot of space to look at in the draft. Also, we have a ton of cap space. There's a lot of things we can do on the trading block. I am at this point over the Miles. Is
that a Freudian slip?
Yeah, maybe it was. I'm over the Brogdon experiment. I'm ready to get him out.
I kind of forgot he was still on our team.
Yeah, he's no longer our point guard because we didn't draft. We traded our best player for him for Tyrese Halliburton, and he's clearly the future of the franchise. Brogdon, we played a few games with him at 2, try to see what that would look like, and we switched it up, and then maybe Brogdon was playing 1. They play at completely different paces. It's like incongruous completely, and I think that Brogdon needs to be gone yesterday. So I don't know what we get out of that. It could be that you trade him and move up in the draft and go ahead and get yourself Jaden Ivey. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if Brogdon's going to get you very far up the draft ladder. I will say this. Look, there's a lot of time in the offseason, and, my hope is that Halliburton and, Brogdon are spending a bunch of time together and, figuring it out. And, Brogdon can be a great mentor, and, next year's a new year, and they can find a style of play that works for both, along with the coaching staff.
Look, I've never disliked Brogdon. I always liked the kid. Nice I was really excited when he came in. He's a super nice guy. I feel like one of the things that happened last season, not last season, the season before, is that we gave him the reins to lead the team and he didn't handle it. And
it didn't go great.
Didn't go great. So if it's his team, I'm not sold that he's my leader. And he's very efficient at scoring. He's a very efficient passer. He doesn't turn the ball over. There's a lot of wonderful things about him, but it doesn't seem to work with the direction we're going as a franchise right now. And it also didn't help us win that many games the last couple of years. So I really like the guy. Thanks for having a cup of coffee. But I think the priority should be to get rid of him. I think we need to bring in a Keegan Murray. Try to hold on to Jalen Smith if we can. And boy, there's a lot of stuff to get done this offseason, and I'm real nervous about it. I just think I'm afraid it's all going to fall apart.
I think that the moving assumption has to be that you're going to lose Jalen Smith and T.J. Warren, and that's whatever, fine. I've already long since come to grips with that.
You've already let it go.
Yeah, it's already done. As far as moving Brogdon, I'm fine. I'm certainly fine moving Brogdon. If we can find a better situation for that guy and a better situation for us, amen.
I want him to be happy. I don't want to send him to Sacramento like we did.
I also don't want to
Sabonis.
I also don't want to trade a guy who plays above replacement average for nothing. I don't think he's a cancer.
Right,
on
he definitely
team.
does.
I think he's.
Oh no, he's not.
I
agree with that.
I think he can be at the very least a good mentor for these guys, even if he's not our top minutes getter every night.
Yeah, but you're paying him to be the lead guy.
We have cap space. So what?
Yeah, but you can't. I don't think you can have him come off the bench as the 2-3,
Why?
or the 1-2 or whatever.
Why?
Okay, all right.
Says who?
Yeah, he is a professional.
We're not New York. We've just never been a team that's like, oh, your salary dictates your minutes.
Yeah.
And I would be surprised if that changed now.
I mean, we do have. McConnell coming off the bench right now as our point guard, and I really pray not just for Joey's sake, or for this podcast's sake, but for the franchise sake that we bring back Lance Stevenson as our 2-3 off the bench.
What excuse would we have not to?
Seriously, we're a terrible team, and the only thing the fans care about is Lance Stevenson. How can you not bring this guy back? Look, let me just say this directly to Pritchard. Pritchard, I know maybe you don't listen to the show, but I know that your interns do and actually the coaches tend to respond to what we say, so maybe the coaches do, but maybe you don't, Pritchard, listen to this show. But what I need you to hear from your interns is that you need to bring Lance back on a 4-year deal. Let him end his career here. I'm over this in-between stuff. He clearly is a Pacer for life. He's a fan favorite. He's my 6th favorite Pacer of all time. He's Joey's favorite Pacer of all time. Let's make this happen.
And just to cover our bases, I'm going to go ahead and talk to our GM, who is Chad Buchanan.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And
just because he runs the money... Chad, I think you could bring Lance back at a super cheap deal because otherwise he's going to China. So come on, let's throw him the money. Jesus, Chad, come on.
But Kevin only has to make one phone call. That's for sure. But that's a phone call that shouldn't have to be made. Chad knows this.
Okay. Look, if nothing else happens in this offseason, if we lose Smith and we lose Warren. And we don't trade Brogdon, and we get a the worst possible player at 6. You gotta
Keegan
bring
Murray, who you love.
No. I'm saying he's already off the board at that point or something. Or we just skip him because we're going for some big goofy white dude. Let's just assume that we screw everything up. You have to bring back Lance. Bring back Lance. Bring back Lance. Bring back Lance. Okay, that's my off-season rant. I worry about these things. I stay awake. I worry that Lance isn't coming back. I worry that Brogdon's going to screw up our pace. I worry that we're going to draft the wrong guy. And I worry that we've already made Miles Turner feel bad.
You're worried about you're up at night because you're worried about Miles Turner's emotionship?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, man.
It's called Colson's Anxiety Corner for a reason.
Hey, look, I'm with you. For my part, our organization is paying all of these dudes millions and millions of dollars to work this stuff out. So I'm just going to trust that they're going to figure it out because that's what people who get paid millions of dollars normally do. And, worst case scenario, we'll get another bite at the apple in the draft next year.
Right. Well, I do like the idea of I really do enjoy the idea of a Halliburton, Buddy, Duarte, Murray, and then a Miles Turner / Isaiah Jackson center position with T.J. McConnell and Lance Stevenson and the Birdhouse coming off the bench. I feel like that team could win 30 games and be really fun to root for.
What about the sauce?
So, the sauce. The sauce has got 25 minutes a game no matter what. Yeah. That's just assumed.
That's just given.
We pin in 25 minutes for the sauce. No matter who.
We'll work out the rest.
No matter who we draft.
Exactly.
Yeah. No matter who we draft, what the future of the franchise is.
He's got the minutes that we had earmarked for TJ Warren. Let's just go straight to the sauce.
I agree with that.
What if Goga gets good? What are we gonna do?
I'm fine with that. Let's have a problem with this.
Okay.
Because he has moments. He has real moments.
Doesn't he? But some of those
he also
moments,
has real bad moments.
Some of those moments, not so great.
I'll trade him along with Malcolm Brogdon for peace.
Okay.
I've been wrong before, but not often. All right, let's go home.
Let's do it.
You can find us on Twitter at Undebeatables.
There are no people who have gotten this far into the show and can't figure out how to find us. Zero.
Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. We are also on the Undebeatables.com. You should check that out. There's a new blog that's gone up. First time in 4 years we've got a blog. So you should check that out.
Okay, I should check that out. I had no idea.
You should. Yeah, super fun. We did a little rant on...
Who's we? I'm right here.
I did a little rant on our the fun we have with giving nicknames, and I think it went pretty well.
You should also plug the Undegooglables.
Oh, yeah. We have another feed, which you should get on. We have... A lot of you as listeners have just gone ahead and signed up for the Undegooglables. We have less listeners than the Undebeatables. So if you're listening and you're saying, you know what, they have plenty other listeners, just stop it. Go ahead and click on Undegooglables. Give us your love. Review us on iTunes. I think you can even give us stars on Spotify now. I don't know.
Give us stars on anything. It's the internet, man.
Give us stars.
John likes stars. Send him some stickers.
Send me stickers. I would like things with puffy paint and stars.
You've got a gold star for the day, buddy. Good job hosting.
Thank you. But because I was hosting, you have to sing us out.
All right.
There's t-shirts available.
And for our once and only Hall of Fame coach. No?
He wasn't our once and only. He was once and always.
For once and always Hall of Fame coach. Bobby Slick Leonard and other stuff. Turn out the lights. Party's over.
That was really good. That
It's
was
good. I don't
really
know how
good.
our outro goes.
Well, no, I mean, we have a script if you'd like to read it. No, we don't, actually. I made that up. We don't have a script for that part because Joey just assumes I'll always figure it out. But no, I thought the singing was brilliant.
Sure.
You know what we should do?
Reverse day.
We should have a pod where he's here, but he's not the host.
Where he's Coulson.
And I'll just... Yeah.
He's got to
and
panic
I'm
the whole show.
I love this. Oh, man.
He has to make a haiku.
Oh, I love it. We've got it all figured out. Next show. Next time all four of us are together. He's me, I'm him.
Dogs and cats
Living together. Mass hysteria.